Support grows through this vulnerability. Real villages aren't built through independence or perfection, but through honesty, reciprocity, and being willing to be seen. Welcome to Nature to Nurture, the podcast where we talk about raising healthy families by returning to what has always supported children best: connection, community, and nature. I'm Tiffany, a mother of twins, an early childhood advocate, and a family and early childhood educator. This is a space where we focus on small, meaningful shifts, on connection over control, on rhythm over rigidity, and on presence over performance, so that families can feel more supported, grounded, and confident in the way that they're raising their children. As you listen today, I invite you to take this episode with you, step outside, go for a walk, breathe in some fresh air, and let this conversation meet you exactly where you are. Let's dive in. Real quick, before we begin, if these words are landing for you, go ahead and hit that follow button. It's the easiest way to make sure that you don't miss the small but powerful insights that support your children, yourself, and the way that you want to show up. When my own children were born, we were lucky enough to be living with family. We lived with my mother-in-law. And my mother-in-law, my grandparents, my parents, they were all deeply involved in caregiving for our children during their first 2 years. There were always other adults nearby, not just myself. And if one of my kids were crying, someone stepped in. If I was tired, I wasn't alone in it. And the difference was noticeable. Parenting felt held. And later, when life became more stable and my kids were able to join me at the preschool I directed, that shared care, it actually started to fade. Nothing went wrong, but my body sure didn't notice. Even with all of my training and experience, I could just feel how much heavier parenting became when again the responsibility landed back on just one or two adults. And now when my husband and I take a date night, we aren't going out to go do something. We rest and we're quiet, because what we're really doing is actually letting our nervous systems recover while someone else lovingly holds and supports our kids. And I think that's the piece that we've forgotten. Parenting isn't supposed to be impressive. It's supposed to be shared. We're meant to lean on each other, and we're meant to offer that support back. And when we do, families don't just survive, they regulate, they connect, and they heal. I want to take us back in time just a little bit to think about how humans actually evolved to parent in groups. You see, parenting was never meant to be a solo performance, even when we can technically do it all. When I was pregnant and even after the twins were born, I very much lived in this energy of, I've got this, I can do it, I'm a strong woman. I carried 2 car seats and the diaper bag, all of it at once. I didn't ask for help, and I did not accept it easily. And while I thought that looked like strength on the outside, it felt like strength on the inside. What I actually learned is that saying yes to help, it didn't make me weaker. It actually strengthened our micro village. Developmentally, this really matters. Children build secure attachments and neural pathways for regulation through these repeated, safe relationships with multiple caregivers. When they are held, comforted, and known by more than one regulated adult, their nervous systems become more flexible and resilient. Letting other people care for my children, and for me, did not take anything away from me. It actually gave all of us more connection and more capacity. I want to encourage you to practice saying yes to help without explaining why you need it or apologizing for needing it. That might mean letting someone carry the bag or hold the baby or take over for a moment. Each yes that you give strengthens both your support system and your child's sense of safety in the world. Isolation is not just hard, it is dysregulating. Parental isolation doesn't just feel lonely. It is impacting how families function at a nervous system level. Research is consistently showing us that caregiver isolation is increasing stress hormones, emotional fatigue, and this big ugly word, burnout. But here's what that looks like in real life. You are making all of the decisions alone. You're holding every emotion, and there's no one there to witness the hard moments or to normalize them with you. And when adults are chronically overloaded, children don't get fewer needs. They just have fewer regulated adults available to meet them. And that's why everything feels louder, harder, and more urgent than it actually is. If you feel like you are constantly on, rarely exhaling or carrying all of this mental load alone, it's not a personal failure. It's isolation rearing its big, ugly head. It's isolation doing exactly what it does. I want you to start by identifying one place where you feel the most alone. Is it during bedtime? Is it at meals? In the mornings? When you're making decisions? And then I want you to ask yourself, who could share even just a small part of this with me? Isolation eases when responsibility is shared, even briefly, even for just one little minute. One honest conversation, one shared routine, or one moment of support can begin to shift that load. And ultimately, that's how we're going to start to rebuild the village. Rebuilding a village doesn't mean that we're recreating the past. It means that we are restoring shared care in a way that fits you and your life right now. Reclaiming support requires vulnerability. And let me tell you, that can feel uncomfortable. Maybe you've heard of Brené Brown. She talks a lot about vulnerability. And she reminds us that vulnerability is not weakness. It is the foundation for connection and belonging. Families don't form villages through perfection, through independence. They form them through honesty, asking, receiving, and the messiness in all of that. Many parents believe that they need to have it together before they reach out. But what actually creates trust is allowing ourselves to be seen in the mess when we ask for help. We give permission, when we do this, for others to do the same. That reciprocity is what builds real community. Support doesn't come from appearing capable. It comes from being human. I want to share with you just one quick story of how I recently have been experiencing this. My daughter has been having a hard time eating. In fact, for over a month and a half, she was not eating anything except for a pancake. We were talking to the doctors. We were doing everything we could do to help and support. And I was feeling like a failure for not being able to ensure that my daughter was getting the nutrition she needed. She had lost 15% of her body weight, and she's already a tiny, mini person. And it was affecting me, and I was holding it. And what I started to do is I started to come to people and say, hey, I got this situation going on, and I need your advice, and I need your help. I was able to speak with my coworkers. I was able to speak with my grandmother. And by having these conversations, I was able to get some support in A, I'm doing the best that I can. I'm trying to find a solution. And B, some thoughts that I hadn't thought about that could really help support. And I'm excited to say we have come up with some solution. She is eating now. And it happened literally within the week that I started to reach out and ask for help and use my village. I want to encourage you to do the same thing. Try one small act of vulnerability. Ask for help, name a need, and accept that support without minimizing it. You can let it be imperfect. You can let it feel awkward. Connection doesn't need to feel super good and perfect and polished. All that it requires is that you are present and that the other person is present. If there's one thing that I hope you take with you from today, It's this: parenting was never meant to be done alone. And if it feels heavy, exhausting, or overwhelming at times, that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It means that you are a human. Saying yes to help is not a failure of strength. It's how children are building secure relationships and how families are expanding their capacity, their ability to regulate and to connect, to be present. Isolation doesn't need to feel lonely. Even if you are in a town without your family, without people you know, when you are in isolation, it's placing you in survival mode. When the load is carried by one nervous system instead of many, everybody in the family is feeling it. Don't isolate yourself. Support grows through this vulnerability. Real villages aren't built through independence or perfection, but through honesty, reciprocity, and being willing to be seen. You are not behind. You are not failing. You were simply never meant to carry this alone. And you don't have to start now. One yes, one ask, one shared moment of care is enough to begin shifting the rhythm. So send that friend a text, call up your mama, and start strengthening your micro village today. Thank you so much for joining me today on Nature to Nurture. I really do hope that each of these conversations help you feel more supported and understood on your parenting or caregiving journey. And if you found value in today's episodes, please don't forget to follow the podcast and hop on over into our free community on Facebook, where we continue to share mini moments, wise words, and genuine support. As we wrap up, I'll leave you with this. Just remember, even on the hardest days, that a small moment of connection can make all of the difference for your child and for you. Until next time, take care, and I'm here with you every step of the way.